Everyone, welcome back. It's Melanie, your She Shed Scrapper. So today I am back with a 2-page layout using the Cape Cod Scrapbooking Workshop from Close to My Heart. I am going to be working on Project 1 and going to be customizing it a little bit based on what photos I have. For page 1 of this layout, it is a 3-picture layout and I am turning it into a 2-picture. And I think possibly the same thing on page 2. So for this layout, they have this special paper. I can't think of the word. And it is only found in the scrapbooking workshop. It looks like it has texture to it, which I love. They did not suggest gutting the paper, but I wanted to keep that as much of as I could for a future layout. And so I did end up gutting it because then the rest of the layout I was able to kind of piece together and not have to worry about having an opening in the middle. It gets all covered up. I love this striped paper. It incorporates kind of all of the colors. And you can see the cutting guide here. So the cutting guide is also included with the workshop, as is the instructions step by step on how to put the layout together, which I think is great. I say this almost every time I do a scrapbooking workshop, but this is good for either beginners or kind of just for, if you're in a slump. It is a good way to be creative and not really have to think. You just really have to follow instructions. I have found it very helpful when I take a break from scrapbooking, whether it be because of a vacation or this summer I've really struggled kind of just juggling mom life, summer, and scrapbooking. And so it just is really helpful. It's a quick layout that, again, I don't have to think a lot about, but I love the outcome of it. So once I get the striped paper on the mat, I guess, or the border, they use the zip strips from that wood grain paper. So it looks like an ocean. So I thought that was great. So again, just following the instructions, I did cut the, it's like a phrase paper, but it's like almost in waves, which I think is great. So I did cut those as well. And again, with the instructions, it will tell you how far up to place the piece that you need to place, how far in. It is exact. So if you have the photos to follow it exactly, it'll tell you exactly where to place the photos, where to place the the papers, that sort of a thing. So now that I have the base done, I am going to personalize it. Like I said, I only have 2 photos for page 1. And so I did kind of have to play around with the embellishments and kind of figure out where I wanted to place them since I only have the 2 photos. So one of the embellishments is a die from the die cut sheet that's particular to the scrapbooking workshop. It's that stamp looking die cut. I think is great. It is quite large, but again, with the original layout, it was kind of like a grid. So it was the same size as the photo. I, however, have to change it based on my photos. One thing, these the Cape Cod particularly really helped me scrapbook some photos that I've kind of been holding on to. If you've been following for a while, I really started scrapbooking chronologically and really did not veer off from that at all. I have, however, changed that and do scrapbook kind of what I feel like. So chronologically, I'm still not up to this vacation. if I were to do chronologically, I should still be scrapbooking summer of 2020, which sounds crazy to me with as much scrapbooking as I do. This vacation was summer of 21. So again, it's not chronological, but I have the majority of this vacation already scrapbooked. There's only a handful of photos or events that I haven't scrapbooked yet. And so this collection definitely helped me make a dent in those photos. So you can see that I am kind of, in a way, following the original layout. In the original layout, they have that anchor layered behind that stamp and then the sun and sea for the title. I, however, had to kind of just move where I placed those and then kind of go from there. So again, on the original, they have the embellishments, that craft paper, those palm fronds down at the bottom. So I did add that. And then I'm going to head over to page 2 and again, personalize this one as well. The nice thing with this layout, kind of the base page is the same all the way across the layout, which I appreciate. And another thing with the workshops too, a lot of the layouts, you could take the idea and scrap lift it, use a different collection. They are pretty, I guess, maybe simple layouts. And so I like to actually keep my catalogs and go back and look at all the artwork in the catalogs. There's so many great ideas to scrap lift. And so that is just another thing too with the workshops, with the catalogs. Just use them as inspiration, you know, personalize it using your own collections, photos, whatever you want. You don't have to follow this at all if you didn't want to. So I am going to double back my 2 photos here using the white and the lagoon. And again, I keep the embellishment cluster close to the same, but I believe I have to change the placement of the cluster just because of the 2 photos that I have. So I have one landscape and one horizontal. And at first I thought maybe I would kind of have them down at the bottom of the page, but that wasn't going, I don't think it was going to work really for the embellishment cluster. So I did just move them up. And I am going to have to overlap them because I don't believe I trimmed them down. And then on top of that, I double backed them. So I do overlap them. I did pop the landscape photo up on foam tape. And then I'm going to kind of play around with the embellishment cluster. Again, I do keep it very much the same. And actually it's almost in the exact same location. However, I filled up that top of the page with a photo instead of leaving the top kind of empty. So again, kind of just following the instruction sheet. The embellishments for this collection, you can get separately. They are great. They are a mixture of paperboard and acrylic pieces. You get the craft paper, the blue acrylic pieces, and I believe, I don't know if it's white or French vanilla, but I believe you get a sheet of white paperboard as well. It's been a while. I did this layout quite a while ago, and I'm just now getting around to getting it up on my channel for you. So I do think there's 3 different colors, 2 different textures of embellishments in that option. You can see that there is like a seaweed sort of craft paper embellishment, and that on the layout they have going straight up because they have that open space. But for me, I didn't have that option because my photo's up there. So instead, I'm just going to kind of layer it behind that larger sticker and just kind of have it poke out from there. I didn't love how it was so wide open at the top. So I am actually going to use some flags, but put them upside down and only use 2, put them at an angle. And then I believe I end up using some enamel shapes that I had from a different Close to My Heart collection. I think I add some of those. I also went into my stash. Again, personalize it as much as you want. If you don't want to just stick with those products, you don't have to. I went into my stash and found some Scrap and Happy Studio flares, and they were the perfect colors. So one says By the Sea, and so I'm going to add the one that says By the Sea down on the bottom right of page 1. And then I had some fishing ones, and I think it says I've got one or something along those lines. So I am going to add that to the top right. Again, that cluster is not in the layout, I don't believe. And so I'm going to just add that to the top there, and just make this layout mine and personalize it based on my photos as well. You know, there's nothing in the embellishments that is really fishing related. So adding that flare that says I've got one just kind of adds that little fishing touch to the layout. I just kind of scattered some enamel dots, enamel shapes around the layout, and that is going to finish it off. I hope you guys enjoyed this layout. I will link the Cape Cod collection down below. Don't miss out on that, or I think it's called Cozy Up. It is the perfect fall and book loving collection as well. So I'll just throw that link down below for you as well if you are interested. But I hope you guys enjoyed, and we will see you next time. Bye, guys.